NFL Week 16. It is time for props and parlays today with Andy, Jim, and Corbin. Welcome everybody from Winning in the Shadows and the Discord channel. Thanks so much for all you guys' participation. Been a fantastic week. We're doing well. Congratulations to Corbin and Darts. You've been doing great this week. So we look to continue the momentum. We're going to break down all of these games. So let's get into it here, guys. Once again, hit the like button and leave a comment. Tell us your best bet for NFL Week 16. All right, guys, we're breaking down week 16 of NFL. Andy, Jim, and Corbin here. Let's get started. Leave a comment in the comment section. If you don't have a word, list a gift. Just type the word gift. That's kind
nice.
Yeah, that's good for this time of year. So type the word gift in the comment section. Helps boost the algorithm, helps us rank a little bit higher. As always, we go over the weather. Really, it's just going to be cold in some of these games. Kansas City, mid-30s, not too bad. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, not really much wind, 30s, temp around freezing for Cincinnati, Chicago, 30 degrees. I think the only really one that is concerning is this Minnesota and Seattle one. It's like basically 90% chance of rain in Seattle. So temperature around freezing for Washington. Jim, your Jets are playing in those Los Angeles Rams traveling to New Jersey to take on the Jets in 20 degree weather. All right, that should be interesting. So I think really only Seattle is going to be good. Corbin, nice job on the Jets. They are indeed building for next year.
They are.
I thought that was very, very strong.
He didn't just go over 1.5. He went over 2.5 in the end. He was flying. I told you.
You were
laughed at me. You sat here and laughed at me.
It's the last remaining piece of arm talent he had left in that body. It was all used up in that game.
Don't worry. Quarterback off Achilles in cold weather. It's gonna go well. I feel it. So, all right, we're gonna start with passing props. We're recording this Friday afternoon, so we'll briefly go over the Saturday games. Patrick Mahomes and CJ Stroud. The only thing I really like in this one is actually the pass attempts. Patrick Mahomes has actually been throwing the ball quite a bit. They're not running it fantastic. He's gone over the last couple times. If it's close, you could have a Chiefs situation where they need to throw. Other than that, I don't have very much in this passing attack. Corbin?
I have nothing.
Jim?
CJ Stroud to throw an interception on the road.
Oh, okay.
It's on the road. It's in Kansas City. It's outside of a dome. He's been a different player on the road than he has been at home. And even at home, he hasn't been lighting the world on fire. This Chiefs defense is legit. They're for real. Their pass rush is coming alive over the past couple weeks. We've seen George Karlaftis get pressure. I think Stroud with this offensive line is in trouble this week. I don't see them being able to block the front four of Kansas City. I think he throws one up.
Love it. Let's move to the Steelers and the Ravens. Yeah, you could talk him into Lamar Jackson. He's been going over this one. I believe it's 8 out of the last 10 games that he's gone over this. This number's moved a little bit, so it might change that stat just a little bit. But I don't know. Does the Steelers defense scare you right now, Jim? I don't think it's as nasty as it was to start the year. So
without TJ, it's not.
That's what I mean. Like
without
the
TJ,
injuries, wear and tear. Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think you can bet any of these passing props until you find out and confirm what's up with George Pickens.
Oh, I think he's out. I think they pretty much ruled
if he's
him out.
That changes everything. I don't like this over at all for us. That offense looked just lost without him on the field.
Agreed. Corbin, you like any of these quarterbacks?
I was tempted for Wilson, but Jim just nailed it. Without Pickens, I can't do it. He barely got to 209. I remember we had his over that week and was pretty confident. And he had Pickens had 89 yards that week. You take that out, and yeah, took me away from the alt. So nothing.
Calvin Austin Jr. doesn't scare anybody.
What? it's if you're going up against him in fantasy, you're like, I got this. It's no problem. It's a good way to look at it. Lions and the Bears. Jim, you brought up interception for CJ Stroud. I'll just keep playing it. Caleb Williams to not throw an interception. He's not throwing an interception. He did it again. He's throwing the ball a ton, but instead of throwing it to the other team, he's just taking sacks. He's just running And he's just running and throwing it out of bounds, but he's not throwing interceptions. This play keeps cashing. And I know what the books are doing here. I know what the books are like. He's getting ready to. They're doing the he's due to throw one. That's why to throw one is minus 165. I mean, this Lions defense, I mean, this is one of the worst defenses now in the league. They can't stop anybody. They don't have playmakers in that secondary right now. So that's the only thing I got for quarterbacks. Jim, you like any of these?
Well, I'll tell you this: after the body language of Caleb Williams after that last game, we talk about this. The rookie wall. This is the most football that he's played in a season. I think they have to protect him. So I kind of agree with you with the no interception thing. Like, it's got to be the DeAndre Swift show going forward here. You don't want to lose this kid's confidence. So if they're not going to say to Caleb, drop back and just sling it, you should try to protect the kid and run the ball. So I'm with you with the no interception. And I don't think that this Lions defense can wreak the same havoc that they did in the beginning of the year.
Corbin?
I'm going to go Caleb Williams. First quarter under 38.5 passing yards. It's at FanDuel. Wow. I don't think they have it at DraftKings.
Okay.
But the last 3 weeks, he's had 8 versus the Vikings, 3 versus the 49ers, and 6 versus the Lions. Yeah, I'll take him under 38.5 for the first quarter. They start slow every game.
Love it. Love it.
Spot.
Yeah. We'll move to the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. For me, it's all about Joe Burrow and some kind of volume. I mean, his touchdowns have been fantastic. His attempts are at 6.5, or has it moved? No, it's still sitting at 36.5. Last 5 games, easily he's gone over. In fact, you have to go back to October of the last time he went under. And it was against this Cleveland team. This is the Cincinnati team that now has life. Don't they, Jim? Like,
oh, yes.
Now they have a chance. And he's thrown 37, 39, 56, 50, 38, 44, and 37. They can't run the ball. They're 30th in rushing this year. It's Joe Burrow, it's T. Higgins, it's Jamar Chase. So I would expect another big passing attack from Burrow, even if it is against the Browns. I mean, Dorian Thompson, Robinson, I just don't think he's going to be able to move the ball, even against this Cincinnati team. So I think they get plenty of possessions. Corbin?
Nothing.
Jim?
2.5 touchdown passes. I don't care. I don't care. Just play Joe Burrow to throw 2 and 3 for the rest. Well, there's not much of the year left.
Yeah.
If you did for most of the year, you're very, very happy. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson is a bad quarterback. Okay, he's a bad CFL quarterback. He's a bad arena ball quarterback. He's not a NFL quarterback. So I think we're going to have a couple extra opportunities on the Cincinnati side with a short field where Joe's just going to be able to just pad these stats. And honestly, yes, Cincinnati's alive. Is anybody surprised? Like, don't they just do this every year? We're shocked, but everyone in the building's got to be like, yeah, okay.
How's this happen? Like Joe Burrow's cussing out the coach. The owners are the cheapest owners in the league, and yet somehow here they are
every year.
It's amazing, amazing. So, all right, we'll move on to the Eagles and Commanders. Corbin, do you like Jane Daniels or Jalen Hurts on anything? No, Jim?
No.
Well, I got to watch this Washington offense up close last week at the Saints Stadium. And boy, the Jaden Daniels Rookie of the Year. And remember when Jaden Daniels was being talked about as he's going to be the MVP? I think we've hit that rookie wall a little bit here. He's making worse decisions. His athleticism, I think, has taken a little bit of a step back ever since that rib injury. He doesn't quite look as explosive. He can still run and scramble, but I'm just not seeing. He sacked a lot last week, and now he's going to go up against the Philly secondary. So I'd be actually interested in a turnover here for Jaden Daniels. Philly's defense has played way better. They are hitting their stride. They're playing good in all 3 phases: the front 7, the back, special teams. So I think Daniels is going to have a rough time against. This isn't the Saints defense. We went from a team who does not get pressure to now one of the best. So I think a turnover is due for Daniels. I think they're going to be down. Give me Daniels to throw a pick.
Love it. We're going to go to our resident Jets expert, Corbin, for the Rams and the Jets. Amazing. Let's see it, Jim. Let's see it.
Here, passing the ball to you, Corbin. You know you're a fan when you have Ray Lucas.
Wow. All
I'm
right,
going to pretend I
Corbin.
have any idea who that is.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
All right, Corbin. What are you doing with Aaron Rodgers?
I'm not. I'm going to leave off this week. If anything, it's pass attempts for Rodgers. I've mentioned it before. He takes it's the Rodgers show. He wants it all about him. He's going to throw the ball. Sounds like a low number, 34.5 to me. Off the I don't have the stats to hand, but it sounds incredibly low. They still can't run the ball. I'm expecting them to be down in this game. He's going to have to throw the ball a lot.
Jim?
That's exactly where I was going to go. Pass attempts. They're not going to be able to run the ball to save their lives. I mean, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt in the backfield.
They're building for next year, Jim. Just give them a chance.
They're building something. Sales pitch, hopefully. That'd be great.
We move on to the Cardinals and the Panthers. Yikes. I want nothing to do with Kyler or Bryce Young. Jim?
No.
Corbin?
No, I can't figure these two teams out. I can't.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad props in quarterbacks. Giants and Falcons, Drew Lock and Michael Penix. Corbin?
Nope.
Yeah, Jim?
Look, call me crazy.
You're crazy.
I think this 227 is attainable for Penix. This Giants secondary is so bad. So stinking bad. And what do we always see when the quarterback changes or the coach changes? No film, unpredictability. You don't know what's going to happen. I tell you one thing that's going to happen. Penix is going to throw the ball more than 25 yards downfield. He is going to throw a jump ball to Drake London. He is going to throw a jump ball to Kyle Pitts. And this Giants secondary is so bad, I can't trust them to stop anybody. It would not shock me at all if we get over this 225 mark with a couple big plays.
Only 29.5 on the attempts, too. I mean,
if they get up, I expect them to pound Robinson and Algier.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this team is just so bad defensively through the air. I think anybody could throw 227 against them.
Yeah. Titans and Colts, the vaunted Mason Rudolph, Anthony Richardson, high-flying showcase showdown. No passing props from me, Jim.
Tag, you're it, Corbin.
Well, I have two. I like both of them for different reasons. I'm going to do Rudolph is that like 200. It's like slightly more expensive, but I prefer it at 200. I mention it every week. I'm going to fade the Colts pass defense. It stinks. They let Rodgers have a field day. They let everyone have a field day against them. I'm going to continue fading them. He's had 200 plus in each start that he's had. 240, 266, and 215, and 209 in the game he didn't play the whole game. So I think 200 is very attainable for him. But on the flip side, I'm going to go Richardson under 179.5. I think Richardson stinks. I think the Titans' pass defense is still overrated. I mean, they've given up over this total in against Mac Jones got 220, Burrow last week got 271, but this is Richardson. They're worse than both of those names, quite honestly. He's gone under this in 3 straight and only has 3 games the whole year he's gone over this total. I just don't see it. So
like it. Vikings and the Seahawks. Darnold and Geno Smith. The weather worries me. I think if you're going to play any quarterback props, just wait before kickoff. You don't want to get a bad number and have it be really, really raining. So it's pass for me unless you guys have anything pregame.
No, not yet.
Yeah, Patriots and Bills. I could be talked into Drake May over 203. A little bit of a garbage time issue here. Again, they just keep hanging really low numbers on these guys, and I like him. I followed him. I think he's got talent. And this Bills defense isn't super terrifying to me. I mean, it could be one of those where maybe he has like 70 yards at halftime, and you're like, oh, we need a big second half. But then when they're down and he comes back, so yeah, I would take Drake May. Corbin.
I love Drake May. He's been
good.
cashing for us all year, but I'm going to take his. I have an alt for him coming up that I love, but I'm going to take his completions over 19.5. I've been riding it. 3 of the last 4 he's gone over. The Bills are better against the run. I think they're going to. I think the Patriots are going to be down. I think they're going to be throwing the ball. May's very accurate. He gets quite a lot of completions. There's not many. Like I think we were betting it live last week and it cashed as well. He's just so accurate and he's got so many weapons. We'll get to it when we get to the receiver props, but there's so many. There's like 5 or 6 guys and they're all at like 2 or 3 receptions at least. It all adds up. So yeah, I quite like that look.
Jimmy, like either of these guys?
I'll just back off of what Corbin's saying about the completions. You can get 10 right there from just the tight ends.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's pretty much each game. The Hooper and Henry, they're good for 10 catches apiece each game or total.
We'll move on to Tua and Brock Purdy here in the Dolphins. And I'll keep going back to Tua over his completions. He smoked us total in the last 5 games, 28, 29, 37, 33, and 29. They're at home. 49ers rush defense better than the pass, I believe. The Dolphins can't run the ball. So Tua's going to have to throw. I don't think he's got that long ball in him. Tyreek Hill still hasn't had like the huge, crazy, big-time game. So I'll just take Tua over his completions, Jim.
I'm with lockstep with you there. That's all I got. I want nothing to do with Purdy.
Yeah, the shine is off, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Shine's off the whole team.
Truth. Corbin?
Nope.
Oh, but Corbin, I know you got something with Mac Jones and Aiden O'Connell, right?
No, not a chance.
Jim?
Just keep going.
Both quarterbacks to throw an interception. There you go. That's what you do with bad games.
I like it. All right, Buccaneers and Cowboys. Jimmy, like Cooper Rush or Baker? You going right back to Baker touchdown?
Baker touchdown passes. Baker.
See what line is.
You could have guessed that one coming a mile away.
Yeah, of course.
I was going with it. It's just every week. We said it weeks ago too. Like, just play it. Just play it. Don't even check the price. If it's 1.5, play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think the Bucs are really hitting their stride. What I love about their offense recently is they've been getting the run going, which has just freed up the big play. We saw Jalen McMillan make a really all out of nowhere 75 yards at halftime on big plays. And having that run game really opens it up. And what I love about it is they mix both running backs in the passing game. So you just have double the chance of these touchdown passes hitting. I like him at the 1.5. A sprinkle on a 2.5 really doesn't shock me. Him and Joe Burrow this year, I think you play the 2.5. You get a great number. Go for it.
Love it. All right, let's move on to receiving props here. Just want to remind everybody, we've got plays up for this weekend: NFL, NBA, NHL, and darts. The year is going great. We're up to 115 units on the year. And since January 1st, 2023, number one at Wager Talk, 202.16 units. We are running a special until Christmas Eve. You get a 40% discount on a year's worth of plays. Nobody has won more units at Wager Talk than we have. Number one. You want long-term, that's what we've delivered. You want short-term, we've delivered that as well. We're the only handicapper that's been top 5 in units gained each of the last 2 years, and we're number one overall. It's consistent. We bet all of our bets. We're about as transparent as you could possibly get. Go to the site, and you can see our last 20 plays. And if you have any questions about records, please let us know. But take advantage of that. We don't run these year specials very often. You have until December 24th to lock that in. That's over at the website, wt.buzz/AL. All right, let's move to receiving props. Texans and Chiefs. Corbin, Noah Gray, going back to
yes, I have 2 and I love both of them. Noah Gray over 2.5 receptions. I'm just going to keep playing it. He had 2 last week. He went under, but he still had 5 targets. He went over in 4 straight before it. He really should have got to over 2.5 last week. I believe there was a pass interference call, one he was going to catch, a few wayward ones, but he could have easily got that. I think this is the Texans are very gettable through the air. I think Mahomes is going to pass more this week, I'm expecting. So I love the 2.5. And I also love the Worthy under over 3.5 receptions. He's been sneakily getting more involved. He's gone over this total in 5 straight now. Hopkins is really freeing him up from what I can see when I watch. So yeah, I'm going to be playing both of those. So
Jim?
Nothing else.
Steelers and the Ravens. I mean, it's weird. I really like Lamar Jackson over, and yet I cannot for the life of me figure out who I want to take. I guess it's probably Rashad Bateman, 36.5, because they'll just randomly show up. But in the end, I just can't really trust him. So maybe it's Zay Flowers, 61.5. In the end, I just come back to just play Lamar Jackson. Don't get too cute trying to find the receivers. So Corbin, you like any receivers here?
the only one that I could be slightly tempted by is Justice Hill over 2.5 receptions. I mentioned it last week when I warned everyone about the rushing over. He does not run the ball very well, but he does catch it well. 3 of the last 4 he's gone over this total. Had 4 in their matchup a few weeks ago. If I had to look at any prop, it's Justice Hill over 2.5 receptions.
Jim?
Well, it's not even that he doesn't run the ball well. They just don't hand it to him.
It was infuriating.
No, he doesn't run the ball well even when he gets there. No, he's awful.
Well, everybody runs the ball well against the Giants if you hand the ball to him, but they get the ball at all. You're 100% right about the receiving. He is the only receiving threat out of the backfield, so I love that play. Look, the big guy's out, so Russell Wilson loves the long ball. Who on that team can even remotely fill that role? I know it's ugly. I know it's gross. I know he hasn't done a lot. All right. But if we go to receiving yards, Mike Williams at 16.5.
Wow.
That was so
Wow.
enthusiastic from Andy.
I know it's gross. It's gross. But if anybody is going to slide into that role to run and take the top off, it's only 16.5 yards. I mean, literally, it's one catch.
Yeah,
on a Russell Wilson throw. So we love picking the bottom of the barrel on these low numbers. It could be one where you're just like, it's one catch and you never see him for the rest of the game, but it's for 24 yards and a touchdown or something.
It's true.
The secondary is still trash for
absolutely.
Baltimore.
You're right. You're 100% right. I didn't expect the Mike Williams. It just caught me off guard. That's
Neither
all.
did I.
The solid play. I just didn't see it coming. So we got the Lions and the Bears. We cashed David Montgomery one last time at the end before he got hurt. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a really popular pick over receiving 30.5, and I wonder if he trips everybody up because they just don't want to give him the wear and tear. I wonder if he's their running back and they just don't give him nearly as much because there's only so many carries that guy has. So I actually kind of like the under 30.5 on Jahmyr Gibbs. Jim, what do you think?
I agree with you 100%. That's got to be it. Is that the most popular bet this week?
Oh, it will be.
I think it will be. Right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I think he's got to be more effective in the run game. So where did the quick dump off passes happen? We could see it go to Laporta. We could see it go into Jameson Williams. Corbin, do you have a bet in this one?
Oh, we all know where I'm going.
Go for it, Corbin, because I'm teeing you up. That's where I was going.
Tim Patrick over 2.5 receptions. 4 of the last 5 weeks. Just bet it and leave it. We say it on so many plays. I'm just gonna keep playing it.
Yep.
No Montgomery's, one less option. He's so consistent. Just keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling.
He's become a red zone threat for this team too, which is just wild with all the talent on that offense.
He's good.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he ended up on another team this year. I would bring up Rome Odunze, who's kind of come alive recently. Caleb Williams throwing the ball a ton, and Rome Odunze has kind of started to fit into the offense a little bit. I believe that's 4 games in a row over him. I'm just not that high on this Bears offense right now, so I'm probably not going to be betting that one. So Browns and the Bengals. I can't figure out what to make of T. Higgins. I really can't, but I will tell you, you want to go bottom of the barrel? How about my guy Tanner Hudson, who's all of a sudden started to catch at least one pass every game and go over this really, really low total of 6.5. I mean, that's one catch. And this is a guy who in the last 5 weeks has 9, 19, 28, 13, 42, and 14. Sign me up. That is a catch. and he's been getting at least one catch in those. So it's gross. It's Mike Williams level gross, but give me Tanner Hudson to just catch one. So the Browns on paper have a good pass defense. All the attention's going to Chase and Higgins. That's why we wrote Yavash for a couple weeks, but his numbers been blown out of proportion. So Corbin, what do you think?
Yeah, you nailed it. Hudson was the one that I had written down. The others, I want to go back to Chase Brown, but I can't do it with this matchup. I think they're going to be so far ahead. I don't think they're going to need to do an awful lot. I can't see, like, I know the Bengals defense is bad, but I really can't see the Browns scoring that free will that they need to get this involved. So, yeah, Hudson was the only one I leaned for.
Jerome Ford, for what it's worth, has gone over this total barely in the last 3 weeks, with no Nick Chubb there. So maybe he goes over. But Jim, you like any of these guys?
Really, the Hudson number speaks. I think the rest of this game is lined dead on.
Yeah.
These numbers are dead on receiving wise.
Eagles and the Commanders. If we're worried about Jaden Daniels, Jim, you like any of these unders? Maybe a Terry McLaurin under?
It's just there's such a big play capability that I just can't bring myself to take an under. It could be a winner the whole game, and then in garbage time, all of a sudden Terry goes for 50.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Great. Okay, there it is. Other than that, no, I really, really don't. I don't like receiving props in this game at all, which is wild to say, but I think this game is fought on the ground on both sides.
I agree. Corbin?
Yeah, I agree. The only one I was slightly considering is Calcaterra now that Goddard is out again. I rode him for a few games there. I mentioned it a couple of times on the show. 18.5 is a little steep for me. I was might look for an alt of like 10 or like 1 or 2 catches, but yeah, that's where I look. It's more going to be on the ground, I think.
Rams and the Jets. Jim, coming to you. You like either of these guys?
Whatever you want. They could cook this secondary. Absolutely cook the Jets secondary. What's Puka's receptions?
6.5. I was about to get to it.
There you go. So I was curious if it bumped up at all. I love the 6.5 for Puka. I think he absolutely goes nuclear. I don't think there's anybody in the Jets secondary that can keep up. They're all banged up. I know they played great last week against Jacksonville, but it has a feeling to me. I've been a fan of this team for long enough to know they win one and everyone thinks they're back. And then they remind you that they're a 3 and whatever team. Like they're a sub 5-win team this season. I don't see them getting to 5. Their over under on the season was 6. So I think it's Puka. I think Puka just has an absolute day. Receptions, yards. He probably goes for over 100 against this Jets defense. Whatever he wants in the secondary.
Let's see. What do you think, Corbin?
Yeah, I mean, I already had Nakua receptions. He's cashed the last 2 weeks with 7 and 12, 5 of the last 6. He gets so many of those little dump short passes that he just racks up the receptions easily. He's one that I would also consider. I normally go for alts under. I would go for alts over for Nakua. I think you could easily ladder up his receptions and yards. I as Jim said, I think he could have a field day. Yeah, so.
Cardinals and Panthers. Do we have to just blindly play the next few games, Terry or Trey McBride?
Yes.
Have a touchdown?
Yes.
Are we really going to go an entire season with no McBride touchdown? That seems impossible. Mm-hmm. He has 89 catches. That's Josh Jacobs' area. Like where he's getting all these catches and cannot catch a touchdown. That's really all I have in this one is just the next couple of weeks, surely McBride has to get into the end zone. It's just a matter of time. I mean, his reception total 6.5. The books are like, well, he's going to catch around 6.5. He can't get in the end zone against the Panthers. I don't know. Corbin?
It's come off the board since I'm sure it will show up again, but Jalen Coker over 40.5 receiving for the Panthers. 3 of the last 4 he's played, he's gone over, had 110 yards last week, has a really good relationship with Young. I think that's the Panthers are going to have to throw the ball to keep up with the Cardinals on the ground here. I think Coca is their best asset here. I think they're going to double team. I think they're going to look at Thielen. I think Coca's going to get open again. 40.5 seems low to me. So,
Jim?
I'm with you on McBride. I think you have to at this point. It's always when those articles come out too. Like here comes the article, here comes the notification. At some point, the coaching staff just has to say, "Look, I don't care if you put him at quarterback and run a QB sneak; they're going to get him in the end zone." Like you have to think you're going to have those moments if they're winning. I even like McBride's over 69.5. I've been saying it all season. This guy is so consistent. He is so consistent. And he's so untalked about. Like when we talk about the top tight ends in the league, McBride's kind of on the outside looking in. But we're seeing a swing, and a lot of these older tight ends are dropping down. I think Trey's going to be here for a long time. I'd be interested in the Chubb at 16.5 as well. If we're going to have double teams on Thielen, which you would think, I don't see anybody else really scaring. I wonder if they just try to feed Chubbard this game and take some pressure off of Young after he kind of reverted back. So it wouldn't shock me here. 16.5, could get that, maybe 2 catches.
Let's move on to the Giants and the Falcons. Listen, Malik Neighbors. I guess I would just have to go back to Malik Neighbors, and you kind of hold your nose at it. But the fact is, he's like their number 1, their number 2 targets, and he's had 82, 79, and 69 in the last few games. I don't want anything to do with the Falcons receivers, obviously, with the rookie quarterback. I have no idea. So that's the only thing I would remotely consider. Corbin?
No, I was upset. They bumped Wan'Dale Robinson's numbers up after cashing again last week. So no, nothing from me.
Jim? Tyrone Tracy again?
Well, backup quarterback running. Let's go to Penix for a second here. The backup who runs with the 2s at practice. So which one of these receivers runs with the 2s? Ray
McLeod, huh?
Right, you would think so. So I would assume the rapport is going to be with Ray. He's probably more comfortable with him than anybody else. He's probably thrown more passes to him than anybody else. Now, obviously, this week he's going to take reps with the 1s. I also, you beat me to it. Tracy over the receiving. I'm a little worried about Singletary's run and the fact that we keep bouncing from quarterback to quarterback, but besides Neighbors, isn't Tyrone Tracy the best weapon on the Giants offense?
Yeah. It really is amazing. It really is amazing. Like there are franchises that won't have 3 starting quarterbacks for just years and years and years, and the Giants I think they have 3 every year. Mm-hmm. It's like every year there's 3 guys taking snaps. Continuity, my friends. Titans and Colts. Woohoo! Corbin, you like the receivers for the Titans in this one? Who are you going with?
I can't pick one, quite honestly. They're all. I would just rather go back for Rudolph's passing yards than try and work out which one of these is going to go over. I actually think they all could go over. Quite honestly, they're all so low. If I had to pick one, it would actually be Tyler Boyd to go over. Also, do we need to talk about Westbrook-Akine? Like his only receptions are for touchdowns, pretty much.
It's really wild, really, really wild. Yeah, I'm with you. But by the way, I would like to take the over on half a fantasy point for Cooper Kupp this week after he murdered everybody's fantasy.
I was waiting for that one to
come out. And then I would just shout out to Michael Pittman, who also has murdered everybody's fantasy team. The worst thing about
it's your fault if you trusted Pittman every week. You can't trust that guy with Richardson at quarterback. That's your own fault, in my opinion.
Well, no, I'm just saying what's awful about him is he plays and then he just plays awful. So you're starting him and you're getting nothing from him. Like if he was out, like if he was just like, you know what, I'm out for a month because my back is messed up, then you at least get to put somebody else in. But you're like, oh, Pittman's playing. And then you're
Let's bring back Flacco.
2 catches for 30 yards. Thanks. But you're right, Corbin. It's probably not his fault when Richardson's completing 12 passes. Tough to have a big day. So Vikings and the Seahawks again in the rain game. I'll stay away, Corbin.
I really like Jackson Smith and Jigba over 62.5. He's gone over in 7 straight games. Metcalf and Lockett look banged up and just off it. I'm slightly worried that Geno could get re-injured and then I have to deal with Sam Howell coming back in because God, he was woeful when he came in.
Awful.
He was so bad. The Vikings are good versus the run, so I'm expecting more pass. I don't know where they've got this total from. I think it's far too low. As long as Geno stays in.
Jim, I'm assuming you're staying away from these guys.
Yeah, I don't have anything in this one. No.
Patriots and Bills, Jim, tight ends. What were you looking at? Austin Hooper, Hunter Henry. You looking receptions?
I mean, Henry went under last week.
Perfect time to come back.
Perfect time to come back to him. Perfect time. I like the receptions better than the yards. There's just so much volume that goes to these guys. What do we have Hooper at right now? Why am I
2.5 at plus
money.
money?
I love it. Absolutely love that tune. I like that better than the 4.5 on Henry. But both of them at plus money. At worst, you go 1-1 at plus money. Take both receptions, even the yardage for both of these guys. It's just the volume gets them to the yards. You're not going to see the big plays, but you're just going to see dink and dunk and dink and dunk. And Henry will go over the middle. Hooper really has become that safety unit. So absolutely love these guys. This James Cook 1.5 receptions has my interest. I know that Ty Johnson has gotten some run, but let's not forget, I'll say it again, been saying it all year, the offense runs through James Cook. It runs through James Cook in the first half. Once they give him a break, the rest of these guys get in, but it starts with James Cook. 1.5, 2 catches. I know it's 170. I can see it easy.
Corbin?
I have 2 plays. You already mentioned the Austin Hooper. I'll just say he's gone over in 5 straight. The second one is Kendrick Bourne over 1.5 receptions, 5 straight, and he's had 3 or more in each of those. So it's not like he's getting just 2. I already said I expect May to complete a lot of passes this game. So I don't know where they've got the 1.5 from. I'm shocked it's not 2.5. So
I'm going with the Amari Cooper get right game. The last 2 times he's had awful games, they've come back to him pretty strong. Was it 4 games ago? Nothing. And then he came back next week with 55. Then the next week, 12. Then he came back with 95. He was non-existent last week. So this kind of feels like, let's keep Amari Cooper happy. We might need him in the playoffs. So a little bit of a get right game here. 49ers and Dolphins. I can't pick any of these guys. I just like Tua to complete a bunch of passes, and that's it. So I'll stay away from all these guys. What do you think, Jim?
I wish the Niners were playing a better defense because I would absolutely love to fade Deebo Samuel. Just complaining about the touches and how does he respond? Drop pass, wrong route, drop pass, pout on the sideline, don't run hard on a route. Like, good to know we did what you wanted from us and you just gave us the same lackluster effort that you've given all season. I'm starting to believe that he's one of the more overrated players in this league.
He's been awful.
Yeah, enjoy that contract, San Francisco. You enjoy that.
Let me read you his numbers, his receiving numbers: 16, 22, 20, 21, 22.
Oh,
Jesus.
That's Nick Westbrook-Akine numbers,
bad,
except
man.
5 touchdowns.
Yeah, Deebo's not even sniffing it. I mean, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Kittle the number 1?
Him or Juwan Jennings?
Juwan Jennings.
Like, it's 1-1A.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, they're both at 60 yards. So
yeah, they're right there.
I can't really get there on anything. Just this Dolphins defense is so bad. I can't take that under on Deebo. I just can't.
Corbin, I know we're going to talk about Kittle here in an alt play.
I have one more that I'll just quickly mention. Jonnu Smith over 5.5 receptions. 4 of the last 5 he's gone over, except that one weird game against the Jets where he didn't have anything until like 3 in overtime, basically, or right at the end. No Waddle this week. I think it could be a high scoring game here. If you're expecting Tua to complete passes, he doesn't have that many options left. So Jonnu Smith over 5.5 is where I'd look.
Jaguars and the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell's playing, so maybe it's Brock Bowers' time. This isn't exactly a terrifying defense, Jim, but I don't want anything to do with anything else. So just give me the best. I don't know. Give me the best guy on the field. I think it's Brock Bowers. What do you think?
Oh, it's definitely Brock Bowers.
Brian Thomas Jr. is really good, but I don't think he's quite the phenom.
He's got Mac Jones throwing him the ball. I think you could have anybody throwing Brock Bowers the ball, and he's going to be the best one on the field.
Good point.
As far as this goes. Oh, God, I really wanted to play that Michael Mayer again. It's just I can't trust we're getting Aiden O'Connell, so we should be getting a better showing than we did with Desmond Ritter, because my God, was that something to behold watching him play quarterback. I mean, A for effort, but geez Louise, was it bad. The targets were there for him. I don't see how we get up to 20.5. That's kind of mind-blowing. Like,
Yeah.
the Jacksonville secondary worth 5 yards to a tight end that only gets 2 targets. So we're starting to look at maybe that 7 reception game being an enigma. So I may be looking at the under there. I think you take Bowers and Myers. You both could get there. One of these guys is going to have a game against this Jacksonville team. Both very well could have a game against this Jacksonville team. I'm not worried about the run game of the Raiders. I think it's all through the air. I expect O'Connell to put up some yards. So those would be the 2 guys I'd be looking to target. I think both numbers are playable.
Corbin?
I was waiting for Travis Etienne receptions. I don't know. I see he has a receiving line now. I don't know if he has reception. Receptions is the one I want more. He's had 3, 3, 4, and 4 the last 4 weeks. Mac Jones is just chucking it down to him. There's nothing more to say. I think both these teams are. Oh, I love it. I love it. That means over in 4 straight weeks. Perfect. I'll just keep playing it. So.
Love it. Love it. I wanted to look up something here real quick. So Michael Mayer has this year, he has 121 yards. 68 of them were against Tampa Bay in that one. So talk about an enigma. Absolutely bizarre.
That's why I don't understand it going up.
Yeah.
No sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing Jacksonville. That's probably the reason. They can't stop anyone.
Buccaneers and the Cowboys. Baker's been on fire. Who we like in here in the passing attack, Jim?
What's our yardages? I need to see the yardages in this. The receptions are tough with Tampa because you don't know who's going to have that volume game to game.
Yeah,
it's very, very, very tricky as far as that goes. I mean, if I like Baker to throw 2 and I like Baker to throw 3, Evans had the big game last week. I would assume that Dallas has to blanket. They're going to have to double cover Evans. It's just going to have to. He is going to roast them if it's one-on-one. Absolutely roast them. So I have to look different ways here. These running backs, Rachaad White and Bucky Irvin, both at 17.5. Call me crazy. We go under on both of them. I think they can run the ball as well. If they get up, we've seen them commit to the run. And Bucky Irving has cemented himself as the number 1 back here. I don't think they're going to use him a ton in the passing game if they're up. If we believe Tampa's going to be up, I'd be looking at the under on these 2 running backs. I think the wide receivers get the work in the passing game, and they save these guys to run the ball once they're up.
I will say one. Sorry. Do you go on,
yeah, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's that Baker wants Mike Evans to get to 1,000 yards.
That's what I was.
He's at 7. He's at 749. He's going to get the targets. If there was an over on targets, I would absolutely be taking him. I mean, I think there's a reason why he had 11 targets, 159 yards. I think they're going to go after him. So, yeah, I would. You take the over this week, and if they really get him a big number, then you easily take him the final week. Like if he's within 170 yards of getting to 1,000 yards, that will be a pretty aggressive play on my part. So that was the only thing I was thinking. The books are kind of onto it, 80.5. Baker's going to throw him 1 million passes. I mean, his receptions are 5.5. Maybe that's the way to go. I'm assuming that's where you were looking at, Corbin.
Yeah, exactly. I was Evans. They're going to find a way to get Evans to 1,000-yard season again. He was one I was going to say you could probably alt him up as well. He's at 18.5. You could take him to have 100.
Oh, a ladder.
120.
That's a great point, isn't it? A Baker
good
thing?
One. This is Baker,
even if they're up, they throw a 60-yard bomb to Evans. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
let's take a look at this, because this might be the nominee of the week to play this one. So,
whilst you quit. Oh,
there we go. All right, so you can start at 70, 90, 110. If he gets to 100, he's getting to 110, because that means they're within reach, and Baker's just going to start firing it to him.
I'm going to play all of them.
Yeah. What do you start with, 80? Corbin,
I play
I
the
will.
70.
I think I would play 70 with something. I wouldn't. I'm going to be honest. I'd probably do 70 in Packers money line because we'll get to that. But I don't see how we lose. So that just brings that down. And then as
Okay.
long as he gets to 70 or 80, then I'm probably good. And then the 90, 100, 110, 120 is all just free money at that point.
It's lottery tickets. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
Yep.
Love it.
Other than that, I was going to say CeeDee Lamb is at 71.5. I know he's banged up a bit, but the last 2 weeks, 116 and 93. The Bucks can't defend anyone through the air. Cooper Rush and him have got a better relationship. I'm surprised this number isn't in the 80s again, quite honestly. So
True. All right, let's move to rushing props. There are a couple that I really, really like in this category. So let's see. Not really in this game, although is Xavier Worthy over 1.5 worth the play, Jim? You're nodding your head.
Yes.
Sure
Yes.
feels like it.
This backfield with Hunt and Pacheco is just. Could we just nickname it the 3 yards and the cloud of dust backfield? Like 2 guys with 0 explosion.
Pacheco's not
He's not 100%.
even close to
Come
100%. I mean, not even remotely.
And they
close.
ran the legs off of Hunt for 6 weeks, right? Or 8 weeks, whatever it was. If you're going to get explosive plays, it's going to be with Worthy. It's happening.
Yeah,
It's happening.
I mean,
You know it's designed, and they're going to call it. It's just whether or not it's going to succeed.
yeah. 4 out of the last 5 weeks, he's gone over this. So
I like it.
Corbin.
nothing.
Steelers and the Ravens. I wanted to take Derrick Henry under, but without TJ Watt, I think I probably got to stay away. Derrick Henry's he's got those glimpses of he's running out of steam just a little bit. Other than that, I really can't get to anyone except Russell Wilson. And I do really like this play. He's gone over the last 2 weeks without George Pickens. His 2 highest rushing totals are the last 2 weeks. Without Pickens, nobody take the top off. Sometimes he has to tuck the ball and run. We keep making. I won't say his name because we made fun of him enough, but it's like the wide receivers, they cannot get open for Wilson, even against this Ravens team. These guys aren't getting open. Wilson's got to tuck it and run. Big game. If Wilson needs to run or throw it away, this is the type of game where you run. You don't throw it away. So I'll take Russell Wilson over 9.5.
I like
Jim.
it. No, other than that, I like your take on that. I have nothing on the other guys here.
Corbin.
You nailed it.
Lions and the Bears. Jimmy like DeAndre Swift.
Yes. I think we're going to see a commitment to Swift here. We're going to see a commitment to Swift. We have to. Like, please, Bears, do the right thing. Don't destroy your rookie quarterback before he has a chance to learn how to play in the NFL. Like, you can see very obviously that Caleb Williams does not know how to play in the NFL yet. The throws are all high. He's running around. His feet are never set, ever. I know the offensive line is bad, so how do you protect them? You feed your number one running back. And this Detroit defense is a skeleton crew, an absolute skeleton crew. Bears are at home. It's outside. They're used to playing on the grass. The Lions are not. So give me DeAndre Swift. I think he's got to be the focal point of the offense. If they want to save Williams from himself, you have to feed this guy the ball and just let him go.
Corbin?
Nothing.
Can I interest you in Jared Goff, Corbin, over 2.5?
No.
He's at 7 and 30. All right.
Go for it.
Saying,
I don't want to hear
saying he's gone over.
Andy.
I'm
No
going to say
David
that.
Montgomery. No David Montgomery. What if he? All right, Browns and the Bengals. Chase Brown under, Corbin? This number seems ambitious.
It does, but he has these weeks where he keeps getting there. I actually think they're going to be up. I think it's going to be easier for them to run on the Browns. I'm not going to play the over, but I'm not going to play the under this week. I have nothing.
Jim?
Nope.
Eagles and the Commanders, we'll get to Saquon Barkley for an alt line.
Yes.
I really would like to play Brian Robinson Jr. I think he's really come along this year. He looks great, but man, this is a tough defense. Jane Daniels under 41.5, maybe. He just doesn't seem to have the same burst. So, Jim, you like any of these?
I don't have the stones to play any of these now.
Yeah, they're tough. Rams and the Jets. Can I interest you in Breece Hall, ladies and gentlemen? He actually may be one of the more healthy guys in the backfield for the New York Jets. And this is a Rams. I mean, come on. This Rams rush defense is absolutely awful. They are terrible. They're one of the
Brees
top.
Hall's awful.
So is the 53.5 line. Like, I mean, don't you want to? Aren't the Jets going to try and pound the ball in freezing temperatures against a Los Angeles team? Do you think this Los Angeles
who's that
defense is
quarterback, right?
excited? Yeah, if I'm him, don't you want to be handing the ball off this week?
No,
No,
he,
you really think
he wants it
Corbin,
all about him.
Oh man!
Well,
you guys do realize the Rodgers thing, right? He needs, believe it or not, this is how bad the Jets are. Rodgers can be the single season record holder for the New York Jets for passing yards.
Oh, he's going to want every piece of that.
He has to throw over 250.
Oh my gosh!
So if you're Rodgers, it's like Brees block.
Oh,
it's an Aaron Rodgers thing. So yeah, the 53.5. I agree with you, Andy. It's pretty insulting against the Rams D, but
yeah,
this just is like, smells like Rodgers. I actually like Kyron over 82.5.
Agreed.
I the guy he's there every week. He's so underrated in the grand scheme of the NFL. I think he's an absolutely fantastic running back. The volume that he gets, he's always healthy. All right, he's never banged up. You know, you're going to get a whole game out of him. He gets all the goal line. Kyron anytime I will love as well. I think this Jets defense is worn down, and if that secondary has to play too high and they can't stack the box, Kyron could have a day easily over 100 in this game. Wouldn't shock me.
He's gone over in 4 of the last 5.
Yeah,
he's flying.
They can run the ball. For all the passing prowess, the Rams can run the ball.
Okay, so me and Jim will have Kyron's over, and Andy will have.
I'll have Brees Hall's over,
and we'll
meet you guys at the window.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
You can help me.
We'll see what this wager is.
You can help me claim my winnings.
I just got to do the sacks.
Let's do the Cardinals and the Panthers. Give me Kyler Murray under. He's not running. This is 6 out of the last 7 games he's gone under this total. I know it's the Panthers, but I don't know. Kyler just doesn't seem that interested in running the ball anymore these days. I mean, flew over the first 3 games, and it's just been downhill ever since. He just doesn't take off and run. Corbin?
Nothing.
Jim?
Skip it.
Giants and the Falcons. I don't know where they're getting this 16.5 number from Drew Lock. Mm-hmm. He's started 2 games, and he's rushed for over 50 yards in both games. He has a 25-yard run, 1 run, and a 28-yard run. It's like 11 and 13 yards more just on 1 run. I don't know if they're taking the average for the year or doing something with it, but like the offensive line is terrible, even against the Falcons. The Falcons are going to be able to put pressure on them. He has one decent weapon in Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to take off and run. He's fast. It's Drew Lock over 16.5. Jim?
I agree. I think it's very simple, right? Offensive line is atrocious. They are probably going to make the Falcons look like the Eagles' defensive line. And we've seen the Falcons increase their pressure rate over the past couple of weeks. They've been getting to the quarterback and getting sacks. It may not be the main guys, the names you think of, but they are doing it to an extent. And against this bad offense, I think he is going to have to take off.
Corbin?
Tyler Algier over 35.5. Giants run defense sucks. They're going to ease Penix in. They're going to get up and they're going to run the ball. Even if they're behind, they're still going to run the ball on them. Easily over in the last 2 weeks. Just one that I'm just going to keep fading the Giants.
I wonder if Penix goes over 7.5. The rookie quarterback, first read.
Yes,
is it like there? Take off and run. Yeah. Titans and the Colts. I want Mason Rudolph. This line has actually moved just in the last couple hours, and I get it. Last 4 games, 13, 29, 19, and 14. He's going to be athletic enough to get outside the pocket against this Colts team. So I will take Mason Rudolph over 11.5. What do you think, Corbin?
No, I have nothing in this game. I keep going back to the Pollard rush attempts. And that's probably the only look that I could have from a rushing perspective, but not going to play it this week. I think there's better looks across the board.
Jim?
I like the Pollard yards. I do. A competent quarterback. Going to open it up. We assume Mason's going to throw, right?
Competent
assume.
quarterback.
Competent quarterback. It helps the whole team. If he is going to throw and have some success again, now the Colts can't stack the box. Not that you would want to, because it's the Colts secondary, but they're definitely going to have to play too high safety and take that guy out of the box. So Pollard 57.5, sure, most definitely. I think he has a surprisingly good statistic day against the Colts.
Go to the Vikings and the Seahawks. Corbin, you like any of these guys?
I love Geno Smith under 7. Oh, it's up to 9.5. I liked it at 7.5. This injury, I don't see a world where he's running. He's last 4
It's a
weeks.
great point.
Last 4 weeks, he's had 5, 0, 2, and 2. I don't know how this number's now moved from 7.5 to 9.5, but I will be going to bet it after this. The Vikings are good at stopping the run anyway. Even if he does take off, I don't see him getting over 9.5. They've got to protect him some way for the playoffs if they're even going to get there at this rate. He's not going over this. I think that's the one I'm looking at.
Jim,
That's it. Corbin's got it.
give me Cam Akers. If this is a rainy game, he's had 24, 37, 22, 19, 25, 38, and 46. Aaron Jones slowing down a little bit. He's had 86 and 73 the last 2 weeks, but 22 before that. There was a 39-yard game in there. And I love this low number. If this is going to be tough to throw the ball in, and let's say, Corbin, Geno Smith goes out and they have to bring the backup in again. This is going to be Vikings run the ball all day long because they know the defense is going to be able to stop it. So.
A couple extra possessions there with some turnovers.
Yeah. And what's his rush attempts? Akers 10.5. That's kind of weird. He hasn't gone over his rush attempts, but he's been going over his yards. That's a big number on rush attempts. If he gets 11 rush attempts, he's flying over 20.5. He's flying over. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. So, I don't know if that 10.5 rush attempts is out yet. It's a pre-line. There's no way that could be right. Patriots and the Bills. Jim, you like any of these guys? I still continue to say that every time I watch a Bills game, the running backs are just doing whatever they want against Buffalo. Like this, every time I watch it, they're just, I don't know. What do you think, Jim? You like?
Well, lately the running backs for the Bills have been doing whatever the hell they want as well.
That's why their games are hitting 80.
I mean, you got 3 of them you got to deal with now. I was really hoping that we were going to get lines on the other 2. We'll wait to see for them to come out. I'll be looking at Tyler Johnson's receiving yards, not his rushing yards. James Cook rushing and receiving. If it's under 100, play it.
Let's see what
I'm sick of trusting James Cook. I'm sick of it.
You've been sick of him for years, Corbin. I think there was like one game that you can't get out of your head.
Over here just cashing tickets and Corbin hates him. You can get 100 rushing and receiving at plus 140.
Plus 140, yeah.
Sign me up, man. Sign me up. He gets so much workload. He gets the carries down at the goal line. I think, again, you take James Cook to score. It's just hitting at such a great rate this year. Not that we're huge fans of any type touchdowns, but it's hitting. Yeah. It just gets the carries, and he's good for 1 to 2 receptions, 26 yards a game, 18 to 26. So that makes that number so attainable for him. So I'd like him over 100 yards.
Corbin?
I'd love to know what Josh Allen anytime touchdown is. It feels like he very much likes the spotlight on him. I wouldn't take his rush yards, but I would.
I'll look it up.
Shots fired, Corbin.
He's not wrong. It's only minus 130. Yeah, he's
I like that
a lot. 5 games in a row, 2, 3, and 2 the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he loves it. Just these little tiny runs where he's like, "Oh, I've scored 2 touchdowns. I didn't have to run very far, but he just does it."
If he could throw it to himself, he would.
He would. He's so full of himself.
He did. He actually got credited for that. So, 49ers and Dolphins. This is about as easy of a pass on rushing props as it gets for me. Corbin?
Pass.
Jim? Jaguars and Raiders. Tank Bigsby, the only one, but I am certainly not betting on a Jacksonville Jaguar at this point in the season. Corbin?
Pass.
Jim?
Same.
Buccaneers and Cowboys. I'm happy for the Buccaneers that they got Rachaad White and Bucky Irving, but it makes it a nightmare to bet. It makes it an absolute nightmare. In the end, I can't bet any of these guys. What do you think, Jim?
What makes me lean to Bucky is that he's been the one to have the big plays on the ground, specifically on the ground. So I like his 62.5 better than I do Rashad White's 48.5. Am I going to play it? I don't know. Look, if they're up, I think Baker carves up this Dallas defense. I really do. Again, talk about somebody who likes the spotlight and likes the show. Baker in Dallas at Jerry's World. It seems like a spotlight moment, right? It's also a dome. Baker loves playing in a dome, so expect them to be up. I think Bucky's going to get a lot of work in the second half, and he showed the ability to take one for 30, 40, 50 yards to the house. So give me the 62.5 on Bucky Irving.
Corbin?
I was leaning to Baker under, just given the knee injury that popped up, the fact that they're going to be in the playoffs. They don't surely he can't be running. But then, as Jim said, he's another one that likes it all about himself. It wouldn't surprise me if he just takes off just to prove a point and look extra tough. So no.
Okay. All right. Love it. All right.
Before we move on,
yes,
I want to go back to my field goal prop. Texans kicker over 1.5 field goals. Now cashed in 10 straight games.
Wow.
I'm just going to keep playing it. The Texans have red zone trouble. They're playing the Chiefs. Chiefs love field goals in their games. I think he gets 2, 3, or 4 field goals. Quite honestly, here Mixon is slowing down, and he was their real red zone threat other than Nico Collins. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on playing it. So
like it. All right, Corbin. Let's get to your alt plays here, and we'll start with one that involves Saquon Barkley, Drake May, and the Packers. Walk us through this one.
Yes. So I love Saquon this week. It's hard to find anyone that would disagree with me. He loves playing the Commanders. 87, 77, 83 whilst he was with the Giants against them, and 146 when they played earlier in the season. 7 of the last 9 he's gone over this total. Was 5 yards short last week against the Steelers and 4 against Dallas, where they were up so many scores. Commanders give up on average 131 rush yards every week. I think he's got no problem getting to 70 in this game. Drake May, 150 plus. This is probably my favorite part. He's cleared it in every single game he's played, other than the ones where he's only played a couple of snaps, with his lowest total being 184. So gives you a huge margin of error there. I love that. You could probably do 175 with me as well, quite honestly. And then the Packers, just to bring the juice down into my ideal playable range, which is under -150. We're at home, cold conditions. The quarterback for the Saints is awful. Kamara's probably out. I don't see a world in which we don't win this game comfortably. Wrap all of that up for -145.
All right, and then you got another one that you added with James Conner, George Kittle, and the Texans.
Yes. So we have James Conner, 50 plus rushing. The best way to attack the Panthers, I've watched a lot of them, is on the ground. It's not through the air. He's gone over this in 3 straight and 6 of 8. So I really love James Conner to have a good week. I mentioned it before, George Kittle receptions. He's the main reliable target left for Purdy. You mentioned Debo's drop catches. Everyone else is either injured or looks very uninterested. 10 of 12, he's gone over 4 receptions. I'm just going to keep, that's one that I've been riding for many weeks, and I'm just going to continue to. And then the Texans plus 14.5. The Chiefs haven't beaten anyone by this margin this year. The Chiefs still have a lot of weapons. I mentioned the field goals. They have a reliable kicker. I think they could get there even if they only kick field goals, quite honestly. Mahomes' injury is a concern. Their defenses, I think they're both defenses are going to have good games. And the Chiefs are just not that high scoring. So I'm going to wrap all of that up for -145.
Love it. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us.
One more thing before we go, not to interrupt, but we have one more quick thing. Corbin, the Luke McCaffrey fantasy watch.
Oh yeah, what is it?
It's not. I don't know if it's attainable. Okay.
So
it looks like Corbin is going to win somehow the Christian McCaffrey fantasy. We need Luke to have a game the next 2 weeks.
So what happened is at the beginning of the season, Jim and I thought that we wouldn't see Christian McCaffrey. We thought there was a chance we would not see Christian McCaffrey, and we bet Corbin that there was a chance that Luke McCaffrey may have more fantasy points
What is the scores?
than Christian McCaffrey. Okay, so Luke McCaffrey has 17 catches for 155 yards, no touchdowns. That's the bummer.
That's the killer.
That's the real killer. I can't believe he's not a red zone target. Guess what? Christian McCaffrey has no rushing touchdowns and no receiving touchdowns. Isn't that amazing? He has 146 receiving and 202 rushing. Yeah. So we will need a big game from Luke, but it's close.
We got 2 weeks.
We should have set a spread, Jim.
This is great.
It's a lot closer than most people thought this would be. So
thank you for reminding me of that, Jim.
That's great.
No problem.
Great one. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, go grab all of our plays at wt.buzz/AL, and we'll see everyone later.
Good luck.
See you guys.